Welcome, night owls and lovers of glamour, to the velvet curtain corner of the internet where secrets breathe and stories sparkle. You've arrived at Whispers of Turkish Stars. Before we slip into tonight's tale, a narrative with the softness of a poem and the jolt of a lightning strike, take a second to subscribe if you haven't yet. That little button is how you join our inner circle, how you keep this community alive, how you tell us, yes, keep digging. Tap it, drop a like, and get ready to share your thoughts below, because what unfolded in Istanbul last night will set hearts racing and tongues wagging in equal measure. There's a kind of electricity that takes over this city after dark, when the Bosphorus becomes a ribbon of ink and every reflection looks like a secret trying to be heard. The event was supposed to be just another glittering soiree, the kind filled with clinks of crystal, perfume that lingers like a promise, and smiles polished to a high sheen. But halfway through the evening, the script burned. What was meant to be a harmless dance of small talk turned into a raw and unguarded confession, staged not with words alone, but with presence. At the center stood two people who had been orbiting each other in the public eye for months, Erkan and Hazal Subasai. For so long they let the world talk while they kept their hearts behind closed doors. Some mistook that quiet for calculation. Others labeled it a tactic. But silence, when chosen, is its own kind of courage. And last night, their quiet cracked, not because of pressure from outside, but because they were done letting others draw the lines of their story. Their arrival wasn't a mere entrance. It had the composure of a decision already made. They crossed the threshold together, unhurried, palms linked with a certainty that refused to be edited by rumor. The cameras flared like summer storms, freezing moments into staccato snapshots, but what stole the room was what came after every flash, the stillness between them. The looks they shared weren't staged for glossy spreads. They were old, knowing, the kind of looks two people exchange when they've had to learn one another's silence to understand the truth underneath it. They had allowed others to write the headlines, to draft the chapters. Last night, they took the pen back. Not out of spite, out of necessity. Friends say that keeping a low profile wasn't fear. It was stewardship. The careful guarding of a fragile calm in a noisy world. But there's a line where patience becomes complicity, where dignity asks for a voice. And that line was crossed when idle whispers turned into hard verdicts. When friends of friends and faceless accounts began to dismiss a complex, imperfect, and deeply human bond as nothing more than strategy. The spark hit when a journalist, clear-eyed and steady, asked the question simmering on everyone's feeds. He referenced a prominent businessman from their past, a figure who drifts around their story like a memory that doesn't know it's no longer welcome, and repeated his recent claim that Erkan and Hazal's relationship was a publicity contrivance. The sentence dropped like a stone into a quiet lake. You could feel the ripples. It was as if the room leaned forward all at once. Hazal's expression shifted first. Not a smile erased, but a smile sharpened. She didn't flinch or rush. She breathed in, choosing her words as if laying down steps across a narrow bridge. When she spoke, her voice was gentle and unyielding at once, silk wrapping steel. She said she refuses to let her life be shrunk to a headline crafted in somebody else's boardroom. Her choices, she explained, are hers, made with her heart, measured by her mind. Reducing the person she loves to a prop is not just a bad take, it's an insult to her integrity, both as a woman and as an artist who has built every inch of her path. For a second, the room felt smaller. Her words filled the walls, and there was no back door to escape through. Everyone had to sit with what it means when we forget that feeling people live inside the stories we consume like snacks. And because this is Whispers of Turkish Stars, I turn to you. How often do we watch sincere feeling get ground down by the machinery of show business? Was Hazal right to stand her ground without raising her voice, or should she have let the moment pass? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. If our long-form deep dives keep you coming back, consider supporting the channel, it keeps our independent spirit bright. Back in that ballroom, the echo of her statement still hung like a bell. Sensing the weight she was carrying, Erkan stepped forward. Not to outshine her, not to speak over her. He positioned himself beside her with the simple, instinctive fierceness of someone who knows what it is to protect what you love. He took the mic and said their quiet had been a conscious boundary, not a trick. People fill silence with the stories that fit neatly in the palm of their hands. It's understandable. It's also rarely true. He spoke about how what they have wasn't engineered. It grew or it wasn't being watched in moments when both of them felt uncertain, in spaces without spotlights, while they were piecing themselves together away from the crowd. Seeing that tenderness turned into a marketing accusation? That, he said, was something he could not swallow. Then he gave the line that raced through timelines in minutes, that climbed like ivy over 100 comment sections: "Our names are not lures for clicks." A hush followed, the kind of pause that tells you the air has changed. Hazal spoke again, steady. She reminded everyone that she's never been anyone's echo. She laid each brick of her career by showing up, learning, fighting for her place. If she stands beside someone, it's because it feels true, not because it sells. Anyone who reduces her to a silhouette chasing someone else's light never understood the woman behind the posters in the first place. But beyond the syllables, the silence said even more. Those small gestures that skeptics always manage to miss were there for anyone who knows how to look, the way his thumb traced gentle circles across her knuckles without thinking. The slight lean of her shoulder toward him whenever a question felt like a blade, the unplanned laugh that slipped out when their eyes met after a tense exchange. In those tiny, unguarded moments, the crowd saw what can't be faked. The real scene was not about noise, it was about how two people in a storm found a quiet place for one another. Eventually, they made their way toward the exit. And just before they could step out into the night, a final question shot across the corridor like an arrow: "So, is this official now? Are you confirming it?" Erkan didn't hesitate. He answered with a calm that didn't need fanfare. "They never set out to hide," he said. "They only refused to turn their lives into a public serial for everyone else to produce. The truth," he added, "is visible whether you decorate it or not." Hazal finished the moment with a soft, unforced smile. "We are happy. That, to us, is the part that counts." By the time they reached the car, the internet had already split into its usual camps. Many applauded the poise, the clear-eyed honesty, the refusal to let strangers define them. Others clung to the easy narrative, insisting there must be a campaign behind any visible tenderness. But no matter which corner you stood in, one thing was undeniable: their determination to guard what they have burned hotter than any rumor machine. Now the question is floating over newsroom conference tables and chat groups alike: what will the high-profile businessman do next? Will he soften his statement with an explanation? Double down? Vanish and wait for the tide to shift? Whatever his play, last night redrew the map. The sight of Erkan and Hazal leaving as they came side by side, without apology, without the careful choreography of denial, is the snapshot that will stick. Sometimes the most radical act in a glittering room is simply to hold the hand you chose and not let go. So tell me, dear listeners of Whispers of Turkish Stars, are we watching the dawn of a new chapter for this couple, one written on their terms? Or do you think echoes from the past will come tapping at their door again? Did Erkan's quiet resolve and Hazal's luminous fire win you over? I want your boldest theories and your softest confessions in the comments. Your thoughts turn this corner of the internet into a living salon. If this journey into Istanbul's midnight undercurrents spoke to you, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss what comes next. And if you want to go one step further, join our supporters. It keeps our work fearless and free. That's our curtain call for tonight from Whispers of Turkish Stars. Keep your heart open and your eyes sharp. We'll be here, listening to the city, waiting for the next truth to step into the light.